All right, guys, I'm here with Jaime Allison. Let me get the title right. The Ford Director of Ford North American Motorsports. How you doing?
Oh, life is grand. We're doing great. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Oversteer TV. You're obviously a very busy man, so I'm going to get right to it. Ford Motorsports, there's that old saying, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. How much is that the real philosophy in Ford Motorsports, or is it more Ford Motorsports, you're using it to derive technology for the real cars?
Well, indeed, really, there's really two perspectives on our participation in motorsports. The history of racing was that it used to be a place where you can advance the pace of technology, especially when you're in the car business, and that still happens today. We race what we sell, and we sell what we race in places like Grand Am, where the car that is raced on the track is literally from the car that is sold, or that is built and sold for the streets. But when you talk about win on Sunday, sell on Monday, and touch millions of people, that comes to the scale of NASCAR, like 75 million fans in NASCAR, 30 million fans in NHRA. So you're touching almost 100 million people. And in that form of racing, our data and our research continues to show is that our customers, those who intend to buy new cars, are really race fans. We see that almost a third of all car customers say they're a motorsports fan. And the number one and number two forms of motorsport they follow is NASCAR and NHRA. And that's why it's so critical, because it is racing, it is motorsports, it is sport. You have to win to endear yourself to fans. And the data shows when we win, they go out and they buy Fords.
You mentioned NASCAR. Obviously, that's the 800-pound gorilla of racing in the United States. Last year, you missed the championship literally by that much. This year, you've won the Daytona 500. This is and you're also in the points lead with Greg Biffle. Are you satisfied? Are you thinking the Ford program in NASCAR is going the right direction?
Well, there is no question that we have momentum that was built on the last year. Coming into a tie at the year end of the season, it was disappointing not to have walked away with the championship given the strength of the program. But you know what? Here and in all forms of life is that you take what life gives you, and you take what happens and you build on it. And we started off the season pretty strong. Our program is pretty strong. We have areas we have to address. Obviously our performance on short tracks is an area that we got to tackle. But obviously last week we just came from Texas, a mile and a half, where we won. We're pretty strong there. So overall, over a 35 weekend schedule, there's going to be some highs, there's going to be some lows, but I can tell you that we are very focused on winning the championship in 2012 with the strength of our teams that we have, whether it's with the Wood Brothers, with Roush, with RPM, and all the teams that follow the drive Fords.
All right, well, you talk about how you're also in NHRA and Grand Am and other series. Now, do you guys in Ford Motorsports, do you guys work in all the series together, or are you separate? Do you have an NHRA department, and those guys just do drag racing, and then you have a NASCAR guys, they just do NASCAR? Is it like that, or do you guys cross over?
Well, the scale of NASCAR is so large that there is a NASCAR dedicated team that works on competition, operational, and technology, and all the support that we need with our teams. But we take some of the individuals and whose skill sets have a good match to support NHRA. And then aside from NASCAR and NHRA and Rally, everything else comes out of our grassroots performance parts business, whereby we support the teams through private teams and through technical support, because it's largely using production-based parts, whether it's our race-prepared cars like Cobra Jets in Sportsman class in NHRA, or Boss 302Rs or S's in Grand Am or World Challenge, or in off-road racing. So we have all types of support, technical support across all forms of racing, from production-based all the way to professional NASCAR and NHRA.
You mentioned Rally. A few months ago, I got the chance to interview your counterpart over in Europe, Gerard Quinn.
Yeah, Gerard.
Okay. Now, the way you guys, NASCAR is for Ford here in the United States, WRC is for Ford over in Europe. How much is the North American, you guys involved with that whole WRC program?
The WRC program is managed, led, and every day operated out of Ford of Europe, led by Gerard. Gerard and I talk and we interface on a couple levels, especially when it relates to our participation in the Rallycross series. There's the European Rallycross series, and there is the global Rallycross series that is really largely here in the States. So obviously, when it comes to some of the teams that are based in Europe and also are fielding our cars here, so there's always this cross network that goes on global Rallycross, as well as our participation in touring car. We have an entry now in the World Touring Car Series, and that's obviously based out of the European basis. But as it's coming across the United States, we'll continue to have more collaboration. So the short answer to your question is we do talk, we do interface, but WRC is based out of Ford of Europe, and NASCAR and NHRA is out of here, and everything in between we talk.
With the Rallycross program, I know a lot of those guys from Rally. I've been a big fan of Rally for years. Is that something that how with the new series here and its association with, it's going to be at some NASCAR track, stuff like that, is that something you see Ford North America getting more involved with here?
Yeah, see, our we are attuned to the voices of our customers, to the voices of the new generation that's coming into the sport, and we continue to see an interest in alternative form of motorsports, alternative form of action style sports, and we consider Rallycross, one of those crossover sports into the vein of the X game, where you see skateboards and BMX and all that form of alternative action style sports. So the short answer is absolutely we're interested, because we find that form of expression, that form of racing that uses our vehicles in a very expressive style does reach a different audience. That does reach the youth. It does reach millennials, who are generally not as attuned to the automotive car culture. So it's a high priority for us. And we are very excited about what we're going to see here later this year, whereby Global Rallycross is going to be hosted at the SMI tracks, a couple of tracks in Charlotte, Texas, Vegas, and the X Game, and then see how there's the crossover appeal between NASCAR fans who love what they see on Saturday and Sunday, and see what that form of motorsports connect with them. It's all about presenting our exciting cars and exciting technology in front of our really beloved and loyal NASCAR fans.
Right. Okay, we've covered them pretty much all. You guys are in NASCAR, you're in Rally, you're in Grand Am, you're in NHRA. I'm just going to throw them out there. The two other big series in the United States and North America, ALMS and IndyCar. Any interest in Ford getting involved in any of those two series?
I've always said this, in that our antennas are always up looking for the next frontier. And I personally believe the next frontier is in the integration of electrification, which is so prevalent in our production technologies and the automotive sector, that ultimately and eventually the role of electrification in a broader sense in motorsports will have to come into play. When that manifests itself into some form of racing that goes on in the United States, I see us paying a little more attention to that space. Specifically on your question of IndyCar and ALMS, on IndyCar, open wheel racing is at this time not in our scope. When it comes to ALMS, I look at ALMS as an exciting platform that stands for technology, and obviously they're doing a lot in terms of the presentation around fuel efficiency, and those are very important platforms for us. So when the right opportunity is there, we continue to talk with the series, we continue to see outreaches from teams, and when the right opportunity is there, obviously our antennas are up to consider it.
Electrification. I got the press release and everything about you guys having the Ford Focus electric car for the pace car coming up in a NASCAR race and everything like that. Do you see a future in electric car racing? I've seen people try to start series here and there. Do you think there's a future in motorsports with electrification?
Well, I think where we do see an opportunity is that there are attributes of electrification that are really important for us in the car business to kind of further evolve in terms of technology. One is, when it comes to electric vehicles, a few elements about the battery is that, they generate heat. So heat dissipation is an area in motorsport that we've honed in on in terms of today's propulsion. Range, right? Range extension. These are important attributes of electric vehicles. And then quick recharging. So when I look at those elements, heat dissipation, range extension, and quick recharging, I believe technology, these level of technology, can be accelerated through motorsports. So does it have to be an all-electric form of racing? I don't believe so. But hey, these things evolve by innovators. So again, I'll use the cliche of our antennas are up, looking for things to happen. We get involved when things are at the verge of happening, but we are looking, and we do see that there's an opportunity for the innovation to take place through motorsports to help propel the auto electrification to the next level. So what we're doing in NASCAR with the pace car introduction, the first all-electric vehicle to pace a NASCAR race, I mean, that tells you it's going prime time. We're doing it because we have a history of being first to market with all of our electrified solutions, whether it's hybrid. We were the first to pace with a hybrid. We also brought the Fiesta, 40 miles per gallon, and now the electric vehicle. So NASCAR gives us the scale to reach a large swatch of people with the exciting options and the choice of that we have afford for electrification.
Well, Jaime, I have to admit, when I started this interview, I never thought I'd start talking about electric cars, but but that's the future. There's no denying it. And to the guys out there listening, I've been to electric car races. Those cars haul butt. I mean, some of those cars are pretty fast. So good luck with that.
I tell you, I've done some golf cart races, electric golf cart. So I'm attuned to the day someday where you can take a golf cart to the next level. Absolutely.
Well, I've literally seen a drag car, electric powered drag car, doing the nines quarter mile.
Oh, unbelievable.
That's fast. I don't care what sings.
Yeah, when you have instant torque, imagine what you could do with drag racing. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I think what we see is the integration of electrified application and solution and systems, as you've seen today with some of the Porsches that have gone out. And so there is a role for dual application rather than all out. But hey, it'll happen eventually, and we'll be a part of it.
All right, Jaime, I know you're a busy man, so I'm gonna let you go. But thank you. This has been a great interview. One of my best.
I gotta do that.
You gotta have the hat. You gotta have the posters and everything. Actually, I was looking for a Ford hat for this, but I don't have a Ford hat. You guys gotta fix me up.
All right, man.
All right, Jaime Allison, director of Ford North America Motorsports. Thanks for being on Oversteer TV.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, and you're gonna get a hat. This one right here.